Good morning and welcome everyone to another Telehealth Today meeting. Today is Monday, November 25th, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And as always, we're presenting a new meeting. Before we get started, I will say every day I'm talking to the developer. Every day we're trying to launch this thing, get it out to the public, get it out to you guys, get this thing open. Don't know what else to say. Working best I can, doing what I can. So hang in there, guys. We're going to be there soon. But as always, we have an amazing speaker to bring to you today. And so it is my pleasure to introduce to you guys Kadie Bangura. I think I said that right. She is going to talk to us about Living Benefits Crusade, which is basically protecting our loved ones physically and financially so that we don't have unexpected trauma in our life. She's a mother, very accomplished. Kadie, it is a pleasure having you here. Thank you for being here. The stage is yours.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have me. Thank you so much to have me here. You guys, thanks for joining this live stream. I just want to really take this opportunity to thank you for coming and listening to me today. Well, my name is Kadie Bangura. I am an independent life insurance agent. I am passionate about our living benefits crusade. So, at the core, what we do is we help folks protect their lives and we also help them with retirement planning. And so, I'm a mother. I market under a company called Premier Financial Alliance. And we're the number one marketers for National Life Group, who are number one with annuities, life insurance, index, universal life policies. And we do really anything from education, children's education planning, living benefits. And of course, we work with business owners, government employees, teachers, really everyone in between. But today, I'm just here to just share stories about our Living Benefits Crusade and how hopefully it can potentially be beneficial to you, or maybe you can learn something, or probably inspire you to get out there and look for the best products and look for something that covers you, covers your family, cover your loved ones, and kind of keep going in this journey we call life. So thanks for taking your time to listen to me today.
Yeah, no worries. It's a pleasure. So tell us more. Tell us how you help people. So I ask this question to everybody. I'm going to ask it to
Mhm.
you.
Of course.
Um, if you got everybody in the world watching you, who needs to see you the most? Who needs to book that appointment with you? Who can you help the most?
The people who I can help the most are our focus is middle America. So I want to say everyone who have an interest to have five free built-in living benefits. I want to say business owners. I want to say education experts. Really, even someone who is an international student or international business owner. We talk to everyone from 18-year-olds all the way to 60-year-olds. We help folks who are just coming in to look for living benefits and they find out that they need to roll over their previous 401k accounts from their previous jobs. So folks who are, changing jobs and don't know what to do with that 401k that's sitting there. So yeah, we can help really pretty much everyone that has an interest to protect themselves.
Okay. I'm a little familiar with this myself as I've worked for a company that you've probably heard of called World Financial Group. That
Okay.
does similar type things that you're talking about. Life insurance with cash value policies, with living benefits in case something were to go wrong. Um, I know that law came in, I think it was 2018 that passed that FFIULs come to. Do you feel that law propelled this type of business? And I've always felt that those types of policies are there really, in fact, to help people retire, and the government made those so that people could have financial freedom and backing and retire with ease. Do you kind of agree with that? And do you feel that kind of catapulted the business or acted as a catalyst?
First of all, I want to ask what law. I think I missed that just now. What was the law you said that was passed?
That allowed FFIULs to reach the public, that allowed the policies.
Yes, I think that's, well, I guess it depends on who the viewpoint is coming from, right? What I think, it could be different from what you think, but it all comes down to solicitation and competence, right? So a lot of folks, I think the bad name, first of all, when people hear life insurance, they think, oh, this random person calling me on the phone trying to solicit me to buy something I don't want or I don't think that I need. And then there's the viewpoint of, I need this. Well, what if something does happen? What if somebody, actually it does happen? You're driving to work and a stroke happens. So to answer your question, yes, I do think it's important that the public understand that this is important, because when a stroke happens for a breadwinner and he's going to work and he has two kids who has a game tomorrow, and now we don't know if we're going to be able to pay for the mortgage by the end of the month, right? So that changes the dynamic in the house, that changes the happiness of the father, mother, everyone involved. And now we're thinking about foreclosure. And at the end of the day, ultimately, the government has to pick that up. When the government picks it up, it increases taxes for us, for the citizens, which is us who are voters, right? So I want to say when lawmakers were sitting down to bring this out to the public, they had the public's best intention in mind, because yes, other companies are great for what they do, but it's also come down to taking that initiative as adults to say, let me actually compare companies. Let me be open-minded to see what benefits me, not just buy a policy because my best friend is also part of another IMO. Let me be open to compare companies like National Life Group. Are these companies led by investors who are led by profit? Are these companies led by mutual owners who are led by their policy owners? So, these dynamics, it looks very broad, when the public is hearing life insurance, but it comes down to looking at apple to apple comparison. And that's what I'm hoping for. And that's why I'm here today. So yes, it's important for the public to know this, but it's also important for us life insurance agents to know that this is people's lives. These are their legacies that they want to leave behind. So companies, IMOs, has to put a focus on educating their agents, and that education has to have a real game plan on how solicitation is attacked. So for me, I believe in relationship building. I believe in helping. I believe in putting myself out there, no matter how uncomfortable it is, because we are passionate about this. I have a friend that I met at the airport. I travel a lot for work, and we talked about it briefly. And it's something we don't want to come out and say I am a life insurance agent, because I am not. I am a living benefits crusader that also helps folks get lifetime income, right, through life insurance. And there's other ways we can do these too. But a few months later, he's diagnosed with cancer. He has a little girl. He's in Washington, USA. And we had all these plans. Come to Washington. I want to show you the mountains. And here he is having a GoFundMe. So yes, it's important that the public knows this, but it's also important for the public to understand their responsibility to look at the agent that they're getting these policies from, to be open-minded down the road to do policy apple to apple reviews. Even what you think you already have is great. To do those apple to apple reviews, most of the time they're free, and ask questions. It sounds like I give a lot there.
No, that's good. That's good. So, and I would say, because I want to push back on your first answer to my question a little, I do understand how this is something for everybody, but there is a saying, if you are talking to everyone, you aren't talking to anyone. So just to more specify who you're talking to, let's say we find I would say someone with a family that doesn't have a plan if injury or tragedy prevails, is your ideal client. And I could be wrong, and you can let me know if I am. But that being said, when you're talking to this person, how do you go about finding what's right for them? I know you said you really focus on relationship building. So what part of that relationship, what kind of questions are you asking people to get them where you know they need to go?
Well, first of all, for example, like you said, I have a family that don't have a plan. We have a mother, a father, and 2 kids, for example. And the first things first is suitability. That's very important. When we come to a meeting, yes, relationship building is important, but we're on YouTube and the world is watching. And so sometimes we might not have time for that. Of course, long down the road, once the prospect or this family becomes a client, there are ways you can implement to build that relationship. But it comes down to suitability, right? Like, what are your goals as a family? Who's the head of this family? Who's a breadwinner? What will happen to this family if something happens to this breadwinner? If they get sick and they have to stay home for 6 months, do you guys have a plan? And if there's no plan, how much is the income, and what is how much you guys have in debt? How much is your mortgage? How much education? That die method, right? We all know that. If you're in sales, you probably heard of that. And then once we know what the suitability is, and then we narrow down to affordability, because we want to make sure this is not going to take out of your monthly food, for example, your dinner, your normal lifestyle. So it comes down to affordability. And most of these plans, right? So because we are number one with National Life Group, and a lot of people will say, yeah, we have that too, we can do that too. But there's a lot of unique ways we can really customize these policies to the T to really fit as a Band-Aid that family as a whole, like a Band-Aid. That will work for them when it comes to suitability and affordability. It has to fit their needs. It has to fit their needs right now, and it has to fulfill their goals in the future, right? And so once we know that, and of course, over the years, we'll tweak it and come back to narrow those goals. But once we know that suitability and that affordability, then we can kind of create a plan that's perfect for that family. So it's not just not everybody gets qualified, right? So of course we do advise folks to do that free Zoom call, that 30-minute Zoom call. That's where we find suitability. I don't believe in selling the first time I meet someone. We have to figure out, well, what is this? Sometimes life insurance might not be suitable. Sometimes it might be an individual retirement account that you are funding yourself, and it fits your right now goal, and it will probably fit your future goal. So nothing fits everyone. Everyone is unique in your personality, in their size. So we don't go as that. We pride ourselves in having that unique touch, and also being strategic in the way we approach solutions.
That's good. Thank you. And then a follow-up question to that is, when you start diagnosing someone, when you starting to get to know them, you see what their suitability is. How many products or services or providers are you actually considering, like that you have a pool of?
So first things first, we first go from the top and then we'll work our way down, right? So once we find out, okay, this household need $1 million policy if dad gets cancer and has to go to chemo, for example. And right now he's in his 40s or 50s or whatever have you, and he's young and he's healthy. We have something, first of all, that is one of our proprietary products that allows one household to have multiple policies under one policy. It's sustainable, it saves the family money, and it protects everyone, right? So we start there. So we start from the top company that will offer 5 free built-in living benefits. Of course, terms and conditions apply. Not all states. States like California and New York don't have 5, but most states have 5. So our CEO, actually, David Carroll, who is the CEO of Premier Financial Alliance, his mother was affected by Alzheimer's dementia. So when National Life Group wanted to add it, that they was just going to make that proprietary to us. And he said, let's make this to everyone. So that's number one. That's where we start. 5 free built-in living benefits. A mother, God forbid, is going to work, critical accidents, severe burn, she's covered. Heart attack, stroke, they're covered, right? So if, for example, the father gets that $1 million policy, we'll put the mother underneath. If any one of them gets affected, the living benefits can protect them and they can claim out of that $1 million. And now, for example, if one person is not approved for that policy, then we kind of work our way down. So yes, we do have a few companies under our belt, and we do know a lot of other professionals that we can connect with. So based on the client, so for example, a client comes to me and she's a business owner and she's in her 60s and she has type 1 diabetes, for example, and we go to the first company and they're not approved, and we go to the next company who's more lenient to diabetes or HIV, for example, or folks who smoke marijuana. So we can really kind of peel the onion layer by layer. So we don't have just one person. I know some people think we're just one marketer for one people, but we have a few good tools under our belt.
Very good. Very good. And what would you say is your best product or service, or the one you've sold the most, or the one that has helped people the most? You've sold them this vehicle or this product and they said thank you, like it really worked out for me. What would you say the best on this?
I will say, first of all, it's not one size fits all. So everyone is different, but and I've only been in the industry for 4 years. I've been independent for 1 year. So I don't have a lot of stories, but I can borrow stories. It's our IUL, our Index Universal Life. And this is our Living Life Defender. It has 5 riders, unique riders that only us can have with National Life Group. And for example, okay, we have a gentleman. This is one of our biggest success story. He used to work construction and he fell and he broke his arm, and he could not use that arm anymore. It's affected now, and he was able to file the living benefits claim, and now he became an agent, and now he's using that story and explaining to everyone how being able to take from the death benefit. By the way, it's not when living benefits, when or claims are made, it comes from the death benefit. So our goal is saying, hey, you don't have to die to get access to your death benefit, right? So there's many stories. There's a lady who was on her way to work, gets a stroke, and she's able to use the money out of her death benefit and pay, not only focus on healing, but also be able to focus on finishing her mortgage, for example. My personal story, he hasn't actually got to use it yet, which I'm thankful for, but it's a gentleman, my client in California. I met him a while back, many years back. We're young in our 20s, and now he has a daughter. She's a gorgeous little girl, and he came in initially just to start with a policy. He said, I want to set her up for something more concrete in the future, and I can only do right now $100 because there's so many complex complexity in my personal life and blah blah. Well, a year later, now he goes in and randomly dumps at least $500 in his daughter's policy because he has a better job. He's in a better place mentally, and I could not just be more happier for him because he is the owner, and he himself, get this, he himself was not approved from the for this same policy his daughter have. So he gets to be the owner of his daughter's policy, and he can manage that for her, which I think is a great success story. And Miss Ali has a question.
Hi. I'm sorry, I missed the earlier part. So I just want to ask, like, is it like a health insurance or a education insurance or a retirement insurance, or is it all together everything it covers? And secondly, as I know that in US they already take taxes, and when you retire, they give you some amount monthly. So, are you talking about these countries, or are you talking about where they don't provide this unemployment insurance and retirement insurance and all these things?
So that's great that you asked that question. First of all, thank you for joining. You have two different questions here. What you're thinking is you're thinking insurance and you're thinking retirement, right? So do folks that go to work and what you're talking about when you say they retire, this monthly income that they get, that's called Social Security, right? So that's something my grandfather utilized, and at the time, even for him, it wasn't as
No,
much anymore. So
no,
that's
no,
something
no.
that's kind of not. I'm a millennial, so I cannot 100% rely
Yeah,
on Social Security. And then there's the 401k, right? Where, for example, someone who comes from a different country comes to the US, gets a job, they get 401k. Usually the company will give them 401k, not all the time in every cases. Health
okay.
insurance is also completely different, right? So when we talk about health insurance, the way it works here in US, at least from the companies when I used to work from, is when you have a job, the company will offer you health insurance. Usually there's also private health insurance, and then the government offers that. That's completely different from what we do. What we focus is life insurance. Now, there are different ways people have used their life insurance. It's not just anymore just after, like, your
Disability.
traditional, yes, life
Mm,
insurance when it was just for dying. The original
yeah.
insurance is um annual renewable term, when it was like every
Mm-hmm.
year you'd have to renew, and for this year, if the person passes away, the family will be okay.
Right.
So that's different from, so what we do is our living life defender defends a family or defends an individual when life gets unexpected. So for example, a single guy gets into an accident or some crazy thing happened to him, he has an autoimmune disease, for example, and he needs to
Mm,
utilize his living benefits. Now he can get access to his death benefit tax free to then use if he do have other medical bills. The insurance company doesn't tell you what to do with your payouts. Does it make
mm.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, I'm getting it. So it's like a, we can say a disaster management type of policy that can help you with anything that you met in your life, and it can help you overcome that thing, or disability management, or like what we can say for that. It's
So
a good
that's
thing. I get it now. Yeah, it's like on top, add on for your already having benefits, and we can add on this thing to have your life more better. Yeah, to get more of cash running to fulfill your needs. Is it like that?
I guess you can say disaster policy. It's
Yeah.
really to protect your life, your most valuable asset, right? It's your life. So disability policies. So you hear in the US people say I have life insurance and I have disability. That's something we say, hey, our chronic illness rider is really close in definition with disability, right? And some of our retirement policies, products that we offer also offer something like long-term care or something that is very similar to those definitions to disability. So what I do advise you guys to do is, connect with me on social media and do a one-on-one call with me. And then we would kind of like go through these definitions one-on-one and like do these apple to apple reviews, because when I don't want someone to mistake life insurance as disability life insurance. Although the definitions are very similar, however, some life insurance companies will say we have disability. And so it's very important to really look at those definitions and understand the difference. So someone is not going with the idea that my life insurance have disability when actually when disability comes, it doesn't protect you. So what we offer, yes, it has 5 free living benefits, and one of our riders is very close to disability. And disability is what you cannot perform 5 out of at least 2 out of 5 daily activities of living, debating, dressing, continence. Yeah, so stuff like that. There are policies out there that can pay out.
Oh, thank you. It's very informative.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Dimitri. I was gonna. Yeah, Dimitri, go ahead.
Hello. So I know that you mentioned you deal with life insurance and related products, but what about 401k loans in the event of catastrophe or some kind of emergency? What are your suggestions or ideas about 401k loans in these types of situations?
That's a great question. Thanks for being here, Dimitri. So I cannot talk on 401k loans because I am not. So I don't focus on 401k. We do
Okay.
rollovers. What we do is roll over 401k into something like a Roth IRA or just a traditional IRA, for example. When it comes to loans, we offer something, and this is when it becomes a bit more strategic, and we talk to people like you who are curious about that. It's called our Index Universal Life Policy. This is also part of our Defender. This is our Defender product. What that does is it says, for example, a client comes in and he wants to give 1,000 a month, right? 1,000 a month, most of that is going to your cash value. So when it comes to being really customizable, we can focus on cash value focus, or we can focus on whatever the client wants to come for. In your case, for example, is cash value. You put in 1,000 a month, most of that is going to go into equity. So it's called our equity indexing concept. What that is it's literally participating in the stock market. Because it's 401k is an IRS code, and then life insurance is also an IRS code. So because there's an IRS code that prevents life insurance from being taxed, you cannot lose money. So the money, most of them get swept into the equity. So like the S&P 500 US pay setter, and they get invested, and most of that comes back and it builds cash value. And every 10 years or so, it compounds interest. And so most business owners and most strategic folks like you say, hey, like, how can I get access to cash, tax-free cash at any time that I want, if I can have access, if I've built it up, right? That's what you're saying. So we suggest products like that to them, and we kind of guide them and how it works, and what is the difference, like taking a policy out of your loan, that your death benefit you don't potentially have to ever pay back. Now there are other business owners that kind of rinse and repeat, and they've done that over and over, but you can have access to loan from your cash value inside your IUL, and it's much more lower when it comes to loan rates. And that's why also, if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, I follow the Feds real closely to know what the interest rates are, because that's really important when it comes to policy loans, when it comes to returns and all that jazz. And so if you're interested, Demetri, we can also do a one-on-one, and we can actually show you what that would look like and how that money kind of tells a story over the years. I cannot show it on YouTube right now, the actual platform, but it's really cool how it works. If I have to show you, then I have to get compliance and
Well, thank you, because that's actually good to know. Before today, I didn't know that there was an insurance product that's linked, life insurance products linked to the stock market with compounding returns. But that's good to know now. So that explains it very well. Thank you.
Yeah, and so zero becomes your hero, right? So when the market, tanks, you don't lose anything, it holds. When the market goes up, you get from those gains. The thing is, it's a life insurance, so we're participating. So don't expect, really aggressive returns. However, that's why I advise it's really cool to really be there and see these numbers and kind of compare it to stock market. So for folks who are aggressive in the stock market, I advise them, hey, diversify, put some here, put some there. That way your life is also protected as well. But yeah, I encourage you to do a one-on-one with us.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so let me touch on just a few things that these guys asked. For one, Miss Ali, there's a study that Americans, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's like more than 50% of Americans say Social Security is not enough. That's why you're seeing older people work at Walmart or whatnot, because they want more than Social Security. This is a product for it. And going off of what Dimitri said, if you're in a 401k, take a meeting with her. Take a meeting with some people, because the IILUL, from everything I've learned, is
Hello? Can you guys
Can you hear me?
Okay, here we are.
Oh, yeah, I think we lost the connection with James. So
So let me ask you, Dimitri. So what part
sure.
of where are you from? Where are you calling from right now?
Well, I am in Miami, Florida, United States. So
Very
yes,
cool.
so I've been in the United States for a while, so I'm familiar with 401k life insurance. But and like that's good to know about this life insurance option linked to the stock market. And the returns, I know this because I have a 401k brokerage account too. So the returns are not aggressive, but the returns are certainly greater than the rate of inflation here in the US.
Yeah.
And
So let me ask you, is your company, you look fairly young.
I am.
I'm not going to guess your age. I will not ask you how old you are, but I'm curious, does your company match right now?
Yes, up to 6%.
That's great. So what
Yeah.
I advise folks like you is, keep your 401k, keep it
Oh,
the way it
definitely.
is. Yeah, like keep it the way it is. You're still young. You still have time. Your company's matching. However, you can also be open to diversify. So, for example, there are individual retirement accounts that you can look into to say, well, what is my future goal? What do I want retirement to look like? And based on that, you can see what you're currently having, if it's going to be enough to protect you later on, like the life you want to live later on. So that's something you can start kind of think about. What do I want my retirement to look like? How am I going to fund that and all that jazz?
And looks like James is
Welcome
back
back.
on. James?
thanks. Yeah, sorry. I was right in the middle of a sentence and I noticed everybody's picture was frozen. I'm like, okay, that's me. I don't know where I was. But regarding the 401k, yeah, move over. Take the appointment with her. They can't tax it. They can't take it when they sue you. One thing that really impressed me about what you're talking about is
For the IUL, you mean the life insurance?
yes, phenomenally better than the 401k. And one thing that
Yeah.
really got me excited about this type of business, when you do the IIUL for like 100 a month, that can be 80% investment and 20% insurance. But they put it under life insurance to protect your assets. And then what you can do is you can overpay, like the story about the girl. Rather than raise your premiums and purchase more insurance, just overpay onto the policy. And then you got like 95% investment. And you don't have to have all the life insurance. The life insurance is really just to protect your retirement. And that's going back to the law. So yeah, no, I totally believe in this product, and that's awesome. That's good.
Yep. And that's what is part of our Living Life Defender, that IUL. That's really great because you can set it to do a lifetime income where you're saying every month after this age in retirement, this is what I want to get. You're also getting that 5 for living benefits, and you're getting that protection because it's life insurance, right? Nobody can touch it. And you can also leave a legacy behind from there. And so I like when we talk about 401k, is if I was just telling Dimitri, right, this gentleman, I said, you know what, if your company is currently matching, leave it there. But if you've been with previous companies and you don't know where your 401k is right now, who's your broker, who was your broker, you need to get in touch with me. And I can help you kind of, peel those onions back and help you figure out how we can roll those funds over. Because yes, Social Security, it's not going to be enough for me. And I'm an independent worker. I work for myself. I have to find a way to create my own retirement. And nowadays, even working for a company, it's not even going to be enough, depending on what kind of retirement you want to have, right? Because everyone is different, right? And now the U.S. government is actually, states are coming together where they're making it mandatory for companies to offer some type of retirement plan to their employees. And so we say, hey, if you want to work with us as a small company, for companies who have employees between 1 to 100 employees, hey, we can help you, save taxes from the IRS. You can get a tax incentive from working with us, from working with us to help you set up your retirement funds, and you can use that money to really expand on your business and grow. So we can do a lot of things with just those two at the core: retirement planning and life insurance to living benefits. But it's the Swiss knife. It's a great tool. It's a great tool for everyone to have, or at least find out about from the right sources.
Yes. I'll just mention that I wish I had found this business or these products when I was in the military. And I think that's a really good target because these guys, they go through basic training, so they got 4 months of pay. Some of them go on a deployment, so they got a year worth of pay when they come back to the States. They're fresh out of high school. They don't know what to do with it. It's a perfect way for them to really guarantee themselves some sort of financial future. And I wish I had it 20 years ago. Yeah, at that time.
It's okay because you're here now and I get to talk on your platform about this great topic. You're doing your own part. You're going to help someone else who's listening. And we work with those people who are serving. And I want to say thank you for your service, right? So we work with them. We work with retired soldiers. We work with people who retired from the Navy and still active. We still educate them about these plans. And so I welcome them to connect with me, and we can kind of find solutions and how we can, fit everyone that has an interest in getting their finances, their financial future intact. I'm curious, telehealth. Tell me more about it. What inspired you? What inspired you to get into this project, and what challenges have you met on the way, and how has those challenges kind of shaped you to today, and all the way to meeting me today, a girl from West Africa, Sierra Leone, West Africa. Who would have known? Here we are on a beautiful Monday afternoon. It's afternoon here in Coast.
It's morning here, and I'm sure nighttime on some of my guys. But all right, we can do this. This is a little different than my normal meetings. Usually, my guests aren't asking about me, but I'm grateful and happy to do it. I'm grateful for your question. So your first question, it was COVID had just hit. It was June of 2020. I had always been passionate about free communication and allowing people to speak with one another. And then when COVID came, it was like a double opportunity because people needed it more because they were isolated more, but also it was pulling down red tape for restrictions because they were, like in your industry, for one, COVID was a really blessing because it pulled down a lot of red tape. Now you can do things from Zoom that before you would have had to meet in person, right? And so that applied to this industry as well. And honestly, I was just going to hire somebody to sit behind the phone in the beginning and just give people the method to talk to people and just try to work at it that way. But we looked at payroll, we looked at different things like that. We said it's maybe not as sustainable. And so I looked at a lot of the other people or programs. Like there's a friendship line in California that actually did start with a guy in his garage answering calls out of a phone. But what we've seen is a lot of these call centers are government funded, private donations funded, and they're not monetized. So the people aren't paying for the service, and therefore it's not sustainable.
Right.
We've decided or come to the conclusion that when monetization occurs, even if it's only $1, and even if that just grows, it creates pride of ownership. So it creates sustainable, lifelong relationships. I mean, if somebody's paying you and you're helping someone getting money, why would they not work together forever? Unlike these people at the phones that can't, get to know everybody personally. And so that
And
was
you're also bringing in professionals too, right? So that part makes sense.
as far as bringing professionals for where now?
When you say that, it's government, I guess this is my understanding. This, the other folks are government funded. There's not that personal touch, that professional personal touch, and you're bringing in professionals that are going to pour their hearts in, and those guys need to get, the recognition that they need and the tools that they need to serve the public that you're trying to serve. I guess that's how I understand that.
Yeah. And I don't want to tell anyone they don't have anyone to talk to, whether they have health insurance, money, whatever. Like we want to be there for everyone. And that kind of sets us apart as well. Because we want it to be for everyone.
I love that.
You've asked me about challenges as well.
Yes.
So we've definitely had our few. I've been through quite a few developers. My first developer did something that nobody else can understand. All these other people I've looked at, so we've had to redo some things. But what I've learned, for one, patience is not about being good at waiting. Patience is having courage, right? It's having the courage to not lose hope until you get your expected outcome or your desired outcome, right? And so if you don't have the courage, so patience literally is courage. And I guess I've also learned to just that you always get what you give, so you're always going to grow as a person as long as you have a good attitude, no matter what the result. And so really you can kind of make your own results even if other people don't see it because you know it, right? It's just kind of like I got to where I was even if it's hard to see, even if it's an illusion, I'm still there because I know it, because I am that person. Right. So it's just about like knowing who you are and knowing what you are and what you're doing. And you're doing it even if it doesn't look like you're doing it. Right. Yeah.
I totally can agree with that last part. That's great.
Thank
I
you.
love that. I love your view of patience. The courage to just kind of wait for your desired outcome. That it's almost like patience is I think it's an action word. It's an action. It's like it's like dare to be kind in the process, to be kind to the outcome, to be kind to everyone involved, to also be mostly kind to yourself. And I think that's a great view of that. So thanks for sharing that.
Thanks
Yeah.
for the questions.
Huh?
Yeah, I said thank you for the questions. That's the first on me, but it was good. It was good.
Thanks
I
for
would
sharing that.
like to
Yeah,
add
this
here.
is a great platform. Welcome
I've
back.
been through, yeah, I've been in the journey with James and I have seen his resilience and I'm really impressed with the way he's consistent and he's working so hard. So we all are hoping that it's gonna pay off very soon. And you're doing great, Mr. James.
Thank you. I appreciate your kind words. Yes, Miss Ali's been with me one of the longest. And we're always I'm very grateful to have you as well. She's always giving me good ideas on what we can do and how to make things better, work better, more smoothly. And yeah, I'm
I
looking
think
It's a
forward
pleasure
to.
to work with you.
I think it's a great yeah, I think it's a great I think this is a great idea. I think it's a great thing you're doing
Yeah,
for everyone, because people can just come on your platform and pick a professional based on, yeah, because the world, hey, listen, social media and our phones, and even as a mother sometimes, like my son, we have focus times because they're always glued to their phones, right? You have to kind of carve those times where you're like, okay, let's put this device down. And since social media, we're in this information overload kind of
yeah.
space right now where everyone is saying, I'm great, everyone is great. Well, who is the greatest? Where do I pay attention? Oh my gosh, everyone wants our attention, right? So
It's one of
to
the good uses of the gadgets, to be
yes,
honest. Telemedicine is a new thing and people are still adopting it, but I think it's the future of healthcare. Everybody is gonna switch to it. So we
yeah,
all need to upgrade ourselves to use these devices and do things through telemedicine. Yeah.
very true. I think all this noise that social media is creating is making people feel alone sometimes, or lonely, even till this day, because it was so hard. Even you go on social media, you hear everyone have their own opinion. It's so loud that it creates too much noise for people. They cannot, and it creates this lonely space. And I think this platform is such a great idea, and it's a great initiative where someone can say, hey, I want to speak to a live professional based on whatever need that I have right now. And I can just kind of scroll up and down and kind of read a bio and get connected to a live person who will share their expertise with them. And I think it's great. And so thanks.
Yeah,
It's my first time
absolutely.
here.
Sometimes you just need listening ears when you talk to someone and half of your problem is gone. You come up with the solutions yourself once you're talking and discussing things. So it's really a good platform for people who are looking for ideas and suggestions and help through the professionals. So I'm quite hopeful it's going to do really well. And one
Absolutely.
thing I would like to ask Mr. James, since you said that government is funding it, did you try getting it registered with the government and get some, some investors through them?
I'm
Huh.
having a hard time hearing, but
No, she was asking me, and that was a question for me, but I heard it.
go ahead.
Yeah, your microphone is a little off, so we're having to
Sorry,
work
my
hard to
phone
hear
is,
you.
I
But
think
I
I
got the
have
question, so
bumped
I can
into my
feel it.
phone. Sorry about that. Yeah.
No worries. So her question was, have I gone after government funding or government grants as a lot of the call centers or National Suicide Prevention Line or all these other places do? And my answer is yes. And my answer is that most of the time I get shot down because I'm not a nonprofit. Okay. And what I'll say is that there's been times where I've reached out to nonprofits, and this is going to sound a little sad, but I'm grateful that the woman was frank with me and upfront and honest with me. But I've tried to contact nonprofits, and I'm like, let's team up. And they're saying to me in so many words, well, if we help people, we're out of a job. And that's true, but it's not supposed to be like that. Because I've worked for a nonprofit and the guy's no longer there, but he used to be my boss. And he's like, guys, we need to put ourselves out of a job and help people, right? And that's the attitude. But when the money doesn't match, that's why I consider those businesses non-sustainable. And that's why I feel that I'm fixing a bit of a broken system that is
Like if the government, if you are under the government and the government assign you certain companies, you might get paid through them because that's how the other telemedicine company in Pakistan is working. It's
Yeah,
aligning with the other
yes, you're
companies.
correct. You can go after a government grant and say, I'm going to take care of these people in this area. So give me the grant and then I'll use that money to take care of that area. You are correct.
Yeah.
And that may be an option. But the thing is, when you do that, now all of a sudden government comes on with all these restrictions of what you can and can't do. And you like basically have right where now we have a little more ability to make sure that everyone has someone to talk to. Right. As long as someone, is saying, I'm this person and this is what I do, and they're truthful and honest, then they can talk to someone else that might not have as much money, but maybe even for $1, for $5, just to begin a monetized relationship so that they can grow together, increases their price together, and basically have that relationship forever.
All the best.
Question. Oh, is Ali still talking or?
Yeah, I just said all the best. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for the questions.
By the way, with what you said with government grants, that also extends to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. So any facility that's a participant in Medicare, they're subject to stringent documentation requirements and all these kinds of restrictions. So
Yes.
the U.S. government, they have a strict role in that. But going back to what you said with nonprofits, it sounds like the nonprofits have this sort of like illusion of creating value. Would that be like an accurate interpretation, the illusion of creating value, like the nonprofits?
I mean, I would say there is some value there. Like you can
Right.
call them up and have a conversation and feel better because isolation's not healthy and talking to people is. But
Okay.
let's say you did that. Let's say you just talked to some superstar and they gave you an hour of their time and you left feeling 100% better. Where do you go? You can't talk to that person again. You can't book a second appointment with that person. You can call that number next time you're feeling bad, but you might not get the same person and they might only talk to you 5 minutes. So it's like you might get your value, but then it's a one and done. There's nothing left.
So there's no continuity with one provider or one person switches every time.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. When referring to warm lines, and these crisis hotlines and all these people that talk to people and try to give them guidance on the phone as nonprofits, yeah, pretty much. You could say, hey, I really like you. Let me talk to you again. And from what I can tell, there's really no way. They're usually not allowed to get their schedule. They can say, well, you might get lucky, you catch me next time, but it's 10% or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that. Yeah. So versus here where you could essentially keep the same professional
Oh yeah.
and
No, that's
that
what I
relation-
want. I want somebody to talk and say, "Hey, what can you afford for me to talk to you again in 2 weeks? This is what I'll talk to you about." And the idea too is that, especially for someone like you help person make money, you help person save money, have more money, so you can justifiably increase your prices as time goes on. And that's what we want. We want both sides to be happy about the price increase. I'd love to pay you more because I'm making more. And that's the kind of relationships we want to build. So yeah.
I just want to say, for me, my I mean, I don't know. There's something we can discuss if someone want to have me as their professional, but I don't get paid unless I help someone. That makes sense. But
Well, yeah, with telehealth, you can be free if you want. Like we if you want to give your services for free, that's totally okay. And I understand your business well, so I get it completely. But yeah, no, that's completely your choice. But yeah, to all the people at home, as soon as we get this thing launched, book with Kadie, because she's gonna give you a financial
analysis
education for free. Like, where can you get that? Like a one-on-one Zoom, like. Where can you get that, right? And then if they're super happy with you, then they can offer you an hourly rate or offer you to sell them some of your products so that you can keep monetized as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If they are happy with the solutions I provide and it works with their goals and they go ahead and get the product, yes. Yeah, I mean, it's a great initiative. I do have a 2 p.m. jump.
Yeah, no, that's about it for us anyways. But this was your meeting, so any last words?
Any last words? So it's getting cooler here in the East Coast. It gets dark quicker. I just want to leave you guys, everyone, you guys here and the ones at home, is no matter how hard things get, no matter how frustrating the day get, don't worry, because it will end. Everything will pass, and the next time or the next moment is going to be great. So keep going, keep smiling, stay positive, and tell yourself every day, I'll see you soon. So I'll see you soon. Thank you, guys.
I'll see you soon. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Great last words.
Bye.
Thanks,